In this video, I'm going to show you the best way to lose weight without exercise. This is the exact same strategy that one of my private coaching clients used to lose 25 pounds and completely transform her body, and she didn't work out. So you know it works. All right, let's see how she did it. What's up guys, Carlo Macapenlac here from newbiefitnessacademy.com. I help busy professionals look good shirtless so they can feel more confident and get the most out of their lives. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button to get notified every time I post a new video every week. Okay, before we get started, let's get one big thing out of the way. The outdated information to eat a mostly grain-based diet, we're talking about the standard high-carb, low-fat diet here, has contributed directly to the obesity epidemic in the Western world. Some experts even consider the advent of human agriculture as one of the biggest mistakes in human history. If that's news to you, well, now you know. It's not unusual for the average American and for people in other countries following a Western diet to consume a mind-boggling 500 or 600 grams of insulin-promoting and fat-promoting carbs daily. The problem is, a large portion of those carbs are either in the shade of white, brown, or yellow, which means that they've been processed in some way, shape, or form, which then increases the severity of glucose and insulin response in your body. The more processing your foods go through, the worse it is for you. More on those topics in a second. These days, everything in the center aisle of grocery stores is made out of a combination of highly processed white flour, vegetable oil, and high fructose corn syrup, which is extremely detrimental to your health when consumed regularly. They promote inflammation and oxidative damage when consumed regularly, which is the main culprit of every disease out there. The problem is, they're also very addicting. According to research, of the 600,000 food items they sell in the US, 80% are laced with added sugar. And usually, the biggest offenders of foods with hidden sugars are low-fat and low-calorie foods. Because if you take out the fat to make the food low-calorie, you have to replace it with something else to make it taste good. And that something else is usually sugar. And a majority of people are still under the belief that a grain-based, low-fat diet is considered healthy. People still can't seem to shake off the fat phobia in their diet. So that's conventional diet wisdom for you. The problem is, it hasn't really worked very well. Data says that over 70% of Americans are either overweight or obese, even though there are more gyms in the US than anywhere else on the planet. There's obviously a disconnect here between what we're told we need to do to lose weight versus what we're actually supposed to do. The good thing is, if you're watching this video right now, you can do something about it. Listen, 80% of your body composition is determined by how you eat, and if you have excess body fat that you want to lose, the most direct path to get rid of it is, are you ready for this? By drastically reducing the amount of carbs in your diet, especially processed carbs and sugar. And yes, even your healthy whole grains is suspect here. It's making you fat and sick. And the simple explanation on this is, out of all three macronutrients, carbs, especially refined carbs, spike the hormone insulin the most. And if you've been watching my videos, you'll know that insulin is a very important hormone in your body. It's the hormone that controls your body weight. All you need to know is that if your insulin levels are high, you can't access your body fat for energy. You just can't. High insulin blocks fat burning, and persistently high levels of insulin from eating too much processed carbs results in something called insulin resistance and opens up Pandora's box to all sorts of disease, including obesity, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. Your job, if you want to lose weight without exercise, is to minimize the wildly excessive insulin response by your body caused by the standard American diet. And this all started back in 1980 when the US released the first dietary guideline telling Americans and the rest of the Western Hemisphere to avoid saturated fat and cholesterol in favor of bread, pasta, and healthy whole grains. And I'm putting air quotes on the word healthy here, and it led to massive unintended consequences resulting in a full-blown obesity epidemic. So, what are you supposed to eat instead? Well, it's actually pretty simple. Reducing the amount of carbs in your diet in favor of more healthy fats will allow you to lose unwanted fat and maintain an ideal body composition for the rest of your life. It really is that simple. And no, fat doesn't make you fat. In fact, if you're not eating enough fat, you're probably fat. I have a separate video debunking the fat phobia if you want to know more about it. Listen, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel of nutrition here. Remember, our Paleolithic ancestors didn't have Pop-Tarts, pizza, bagels, breakfast cereals, or French fries 2.5 million years ago. Their diet consisted of mostly plants, animals, nuts, seeds, and seasonal fruit whenever they found them, and they didn't suffer from heart disease or cancer, two of the leading causes of death in the US. They also didn't suffer from obesity. None of those diseases existed back in the Paleolithic times. Our ancestors were naturally lean and strong. I mentioned our Paleolithic ancestors because we're still genetically identical to them. Like, we haven't magically evolved since that time. So it's really all about trying to model what we eat as close to the original human diet as possible. This is more commonly referred to as the paleo diet. When you switch to a more paleo style of eating, the protein and fat you'll be eating from plants and animals are way more nutrient dense and will provide longer satisfaction levels compared to a diet high in carbs. Like, what do you think is more filling? Toast with some jam and a glass of orange juice, or bacon and eggs with some avocado? The former is a sugar bomb once it enters your system, while the latter is a nice blend of healthy fats and protein. I'm gonna go with the latter there. And the reason for this is fats and animal protein activate the satiety hormones peptide YY and cholecystokinin, and carbs don't do that. Finally, consuming less processed carbs results in less insulin production, which results in your hunger and cravings to moderate. Remember, the crash and burn effect that you probably experience on a daily basis, also known as getting hangry, is due to your body constantly cycling back and forth from consuming carbs, then your body converts it to glucose, which then results in an insulin response to moderate blood glucose, which then results in a subsequent insulin crash, which then results in you feeling lethargic, hungry, and going for a quick sugar fix. And then the cycle starts again. Notice how you're always hungry mid-morning and mid-afternoon after eating a high-carb meal? You can stop that vicious energy crash and burn cycle by simply reducing your carb intake, especially simple carbs in favor of healthy fats and protein. It's as simple as this. When you reduce your consumption of carbs in favor of a high-fat diet, you're going to optimize your insulin production, enabling you to utilize fatty acids from the foods that you eat and stored body fat as your preferred fuel source. Because when you restrict carbs and give your body mainly fat to burn, it adapts to become very good at using fat for energy. You become a fat burner. Remember, you can either be a sugar burner if you eat a lot of carbs, or you can be a fat burner. You can't do both. You can't burn a little bit of this and a little bit of that. It doesn't work that way. Your body actually prefers fat as its main source of energy because it's a cleaner burning fuel. So we're talking about a high-fat, low-carb, and moderate protein diet here. The complete opposite of conventional wisdom, that is, the standard American diet, which has also led to an obesity epidemic, so maybe it's time to try something different here. Just saying. Multiple studies have now confirmed that low-carb diets are extremely effective for weight loss. How effective? Well, here's one of my private coaching clients, and you met her at the beginning of this video. She had some injuries that she was dealing with, so she couldn't exercise when she started, so we focused on her diet instead, and she lost 25 pounds in 6 months. She went from a size 10 to a size 4. And if you're a girl who's watching this, you'll know how big of a difference that is. Here's another example. He lost 5 inches off his waist. He went from a size 33 to a size 28. Again, without exercise. And I'm not saying that exercise isn't good for you. It is. It's like brushing your teeth. You should do it every day. It has tons of physiological benefits, but weight loss isn't one of them. And most people have it backwards, right? They think they can outrun a bad diet. They'll say, oh, I burned 300 calories during my workout. I can have this 300 calorie muffin. No, it doesn't work like that. By the way, if you want to know more about my coaching program, then click on the link at the top right hand corner here. Hopefully by now, you're at least opening up to the idea of reducing carbs from your diet. But here's where it gets more interesting. One large review of 13 studies with follow-up lasting at least a year found that people who consumed 50 or fewer grams of carbs per day lost more weight than those following traditional weight loss diets. This diet, by the way, is more commonly known as the ketogenic diet, or keto diet for short. It's an unbelievably powerful eating strategy when it comes to weight loss. The keto diet reduces your appetite, it increases fat loss compared to a standard high-carb, low-fat diet. Obviously, it lowers triglyceride levels, it increases levels of good HDL cholesterol, it reduces blood sugar and insulin levels, and is unbelievably effective when it comes to reversing metabolic syndrome. And I always say that weight loss might be the least impressive benefit when it comes to switching to a high-fat, low-carb diet when you see all the improvements in your biomarkers. Listen, I get it. Drastically changing your diet might seem unusual at first for those of you trying to do the right thing by following the conventional diet wisdom. After all, I'm telling you that healthy fats should be the focal point of your diet while ditching supposedly healthy whole grains. But this isn't anything new. This is actually how we evolved to eat. Unlike fat and protein, carb consumption is not required for human survival. Big food companies don't want you to know this, but there are no essential carbs. None. I know they're delicious, but for crying out loud, you can't be eating bread, cereal, pasta, pizza, chips, and cookies every day and expect to stay healthy. Listen, you cannot reduce body fat on a diet that stimulates chronically high insulin levels. Period. If you want to lose weight without exercise, lowering your carb intake to 50 to 100 grams per day or less, with the majority of those carbs coming from vegetables, so more of a paleo diet style of eating, will allow you to easily drop an average of 1 to 2 pounds of body fat per week. And if you want to get into accelerated fat loss, you can lower it to 50 grams or less and trigger a metabolic shift, and that's when you get into nutritional ketosis. Again, that's when you get into the ketogenic diet way of eating. Even if you've struggled with your weight for most of your life, you can quickly and dramatically change course by following this dietary switch that I just laid out for you. It's not too late. Listen, at the end of the day, health isn't about the weight you lose, but about the life that you gain, right? To use our subject again as an example, she hasn't been this lean since before she had kids. And she's about to turn 60. She's way more confident about herself and she's healthier than ever. It's like turning back time. Oh, and she also happens to be my mom. So that's a nice little bonus. Now, if you're someone who's been struggling with losing weight for years, you've tried every diet under the sun, you've cut the fat, you've gone on a calorie deficit diet, you work out every day, but you just can't seem to lose weight, or maybe you're feeling stuck because you've hit a weight loss plateau and you can't seem to get out of it, you feel like life is just passing you by, you're missing out on opportunities, and you realize that it's time to get one-on-one professional help, then feel free to reach out to me. Head on over to my website, newbiefitnessacademy.com/coaching, read through the page and the success stories, and fill out the application form for a free consultation. If I think that we're a good fit, then I'll personally reach out to you directly. Now, if you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I post a new video every Friday, and hey, leave me a comment below if you found this video helpful or if you have any questions about this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the comment section. Virtual high five.